Welcome back to my channel, Absera Studio. All students and audiences, welcome to the stage. It's an absolute pleasure to have each and every one of you here today. I want to take a moment to share something truly special with you all, my YouTube channel, which is Absera Studio. Liking my videos shows your appreciation for the hard work I put into creating them. Thank you for joining my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our future cosmic adventures. Thank you for watching my channel.
Welcome to my presentation. Today I am going to present Geography of Ethiopia and the Horn, Chapter 1, Part 4, which is entitled as Location and Size of Ethiopia and the Horn. So, having said this, then the first one is location and size of Ethiopia and the Horn. What seems like the location of what Ethiopia and the Horn. So regarding to its location of the Horn, then it is a part of what Eastern Africa, meaning that the Horn of Africa is found in Eastern Africa. Then in the previous period, then we have seen about the countries which are categorized or grouped in the Horn of Africa, like Eritrea, Djibouti, Somalia and Ethiopia is considered as the Horn of Africa. So these countries are found in the eastern part of what Africa. So it is located on the easternmost part of what the African mainland. So it is a narrow tip that protrudes or extends into the northern Indian Ocean, and also it is separating it from the Gulf of Aden. So that based on this geographical location, then it is what it is extended in the northern part of the Indian Ocean. That means from the ocean of the Indian in the north part, and also it is extended into what the Gulf of Aden. So the region is home to the countries of what Ethiopia, Eritrea, Ethiopia and Somalia. Yes, we have said that. So these countries are, it is considered as the Horn of Africa. So their cultures have been linked throughout their long history. So that they have their own long histories are there in terms of what different aspects, like in terms of what trade, and also that trades have resulted for the existence of what different linkages was there. So that there is their history is interrelated. And in terms of what size, Ethiopia is the largest, while Djibouti is the smallest. Yeah, based on the aerial coverage or based on their area, then Ethiopia is the largest. And the absolute location of the Horn of Africa is bounded with the location is, it is starting from 1 degree southern hemisphere latitude to 18 degree northern latitude. So that this is what it is, the latitudinal extension of what the Horn of Africa is found from 18 degree northern hemisphere up to 1 degree the southern hemisphere in terms of what latitude. And also it is a longitudinal extension which is starting from 33 east. This is 33 degree east longitude up to 51 degree 24 minute east longitude. So this is what this is the latitudinal and the longitudinal extension of what the Horn of Africa, which is including of what Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti and Somalia. And having said this, the Horn of Africa have diversified characteristics in terms of different aspects. Yeah. So that this, the Horn of Africa have their own different or diversified characteristics are there in terms of what the culture, in terms of what elevation, in terms of what socio-economic aspects. Yeah. So the first one is there is elevation or topographical conditions are there, meaning that, so we know that in the, for example, when we are considering Ethiopia, then we do have a diversified topographical conditions are there, which is the high area and the low areas are there, so that there is extreme variation of what elevational variations are there. So the same is true in the Horn of Africa. Then we do have the different diversified characteristics in terms of what elevation or topographical conditions are there. So like for example, there is diverse areas at the highlands of what the Ethiopian plateau, yeah. So there is what? There is the highland part of Ethiopia are there, and also there is the Ogaden deserts are there, which is yellow area, or it is what in terms of what elevation, then it is a lowland area, and also there is the Eritrean and Somalian coastal lines are there, and this is the Somalian and Eritrean coastal lines. Its coasts are washed by the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aden, and also the Indian Ocean. So this is what this is. The different type topographical conditions are there, which is from the highland up to the lowlands, and also including of what the coastal areas or the coastal lines. So this is the first diversified features which are found in the Horn of Africa. And the second one is we do have a different types of what ethnic and cultural diversities are there. So that in Ethiopia and also in Eritrea, then we do have a different types of what cultures are there, and also we do have a different types of what ethnics are there. So the Horn of Africa is a home to a wide array of ethnic groups and cultures, meaning that then we do have a different types of what ethnic groups are there, and those ethnic groups have their own different cultures are there. So each country in the regions has its own unique features or unique character in terms of what cultural heritage are there, meaning that then those countries which are found in the Horn of Africa have different types of ethnic and cultural diversity are there. Then each ethnic cities have their own cultural heritage, and also we do have different types of what traditions are there. So then there is also unique traditions are there, and also there is a unique languages are there, and also the religious practice are what the major the major diversities which is found in the Horn of Africa. For example, Ethiopia alone is a home to more than or 86 different ethnic groups, each within its own distinct customs and languages are there. So even though we do have a different types of cultural heritage or tradition, language, religious, and customs or beliefs are there, then in each country, then there are different types of ethnic cities are there. Then those ethnic cities have their own a unique culture, tradition, language, religions are there. So this is another features of the Horn of Africa. And the other one is ecological diversity. So we do have a different types of what ecological diversities are there, or different types of what ecosystems are there. So the Horn of Africa encompasses or including of a range of ecosystems from arid and semi-arid regions to highland forest and wetlands are there. Meaning that, so since we have said that there is a diversified topographical conditions are there, so that topographical conditions have resulted for the existence of what different types of what agroecological zones are there. So that in that agroecological zone, then there is the existence of what different types of what forests and or different types of what animals and plants are exist there. So this ecological diversity is it supports a variety of what plants and animal species, meaning that since we do have a different types of what ecosystems are there, so that ecosystems it supports a variety of what plants and animal species, which includes unique and endemic wildlife. That means there is the existence of what unique wildlife and endemic wildlife are there. Like for example, the Afar wild ass, the Graves zebra, and also the Ethiopian wolf sarwal. It is the unique and endemic wild animals which are found in the Horn of Africa. And the other one is the regions also features diverse landscape. Yes, we have said that we do have, or there is the existence of a diversified topographical conditions are there, and that have resulted for the existence of what a different types of what climate conditions are there, which is including of what the savanna area or the savanna grassland, the desert, and the volcanic formations are there. So, for example, you can see this is the Horn of Africa which is including of what Eritrea, which is the northern part, and also it is the western part. I mean, the eastern part is Somalia, and also the Djibouti are there, and Ethiopia is there. So this is what the location of what the Horn of Africa. So, and this then there is the existence of what the different types of what cultures are there. There is a different types of what fauna and flora are there, and also there is the existence of what diversified topographical conditions are there. So this is more about the unique features of what Ethiopia and also the Horn of what Africa. And the other one is the location of what Ethiopia. So before then I have said about, or I have discussed about the location of what the Horn of what Africa. Now I will show you the location of what Ethiopia. Then we know that the location of what Ethiopia is, it is, or location of what the location can be expressed in terms of what two ways, or we can express the location in terms of what either of what absolute location or relative location. So this absolute location, or sometimes it is known as astronomical location, or it is also known as mathematical location. So it states the location of what a place using the lines of what latitude and longitude. So we know that when we are talking about when we are expressing about the location of what any country, then it can be expressed in terms of what latitudinal and longitudinal lines. Yes. So then astronomically, Ethiopia is a landlocked country. Then what does it mean a landlocked country? Then it is what? It is a country that is a sovereign state that does not have a coastline or any direct access to the sea is known as this landlocked country, or it is a completely surrounded by land, often sharing borders with one or more neighboring countries is known as this landlocked country. Like for example, Ethiopia is bordered in Eritrea, Djibouti, Somalia, Kenya, Sudan, and South Sudan. So that it is what? It is completely surrounded by the land. So such types of what phenomena is known as this, or such types of what country is known as a landlocked country. Or a landlocked country typically lacks territorial access to ocean, or sea, or major waterways, which can have a significant implication for their economic, political, and logistical consideration. So when the countries have its own access to water or sea or waterways, then that have a positive implication for the economic development, for political relation or integration, and also logistic considerations is important here. So based on this, then astronomical Ethiopia is a landlocked country, which is located between 3 degree north latitude up to 15 degree north latitude. That means it is from Moyale in the southern tip, or the southern extreme point, up to 15 degree north, which is found in the northern Tigray part, which is known as a Badme. So this is a latitudinal extension, and also it is longitudinal extension is from 33 degree eastern part of what Ethiopia, which is known as Akobo, up to 48 degree east, or the tip of what the Ogaden in the eastern direction. So this is what the astronomical location, or the absolute location, or the mathematical location of what Ethiopia in terms of what latitude and longitude. So the east-west distance, it is 15 degree, is longer than the north-south distance, meaning that then from the north-south extension it is 3 degree up to 15 degree north, then the difference is 12 degree, which means it is lower than the east-west extension. So the east-west distance, which is 15 degree, meaning that 33 or the degree east longitude up to 48 degree east longitude, then this is the difference is 15 degree longitude. So the east-west distance is longer than the north-south distance. And the other point is the latitudinal and longitudinal extensions are important in two ways. So then Ethiopia it is located in terms of what latitude and longitude. Then what is its implication of what the location of what Ethiopia, which is found in 3 up to 15 degree north latitude, and also 33 up to 48 degree east longitude. So that in this case, then there is this latitudinal and longitudinal extensions it is important in terms of what two ways. Then the first one is latitude determines the climate zone of the location. Then we know that the major controls for weather and climate is latitude. So that since Ethiopia is located from 3 up to 15-degree north latitude, then this location or Ethiopia is located in this latitude determines the climate zone of the country. So based on the latitudinal location, then as a result of its latitudinal extension, the country experienced tropical climate. So that since tropical climate conditions are there, why? Because the latitudinal location is it is found in the tropics. And that means when the country is located from 0 degree up to 23 degree half north or southern hemisphere, then that countries may have experienced tropical climate condition, but there may be another controls for weather and climate conditions are there. So based on its latitudinal extension or location, then Ethiopia is experienced the tropical climate condition. Then the other one is what seems like the importance of the longitudinal lines. Then we know that these longitudinal lines determine the time zone of the location. So we know that time zone or longitudinal extension determines the time zone within a country or across a different countries. So we know that the Earth is divided into 24 time zone. Then each have approximately 15 degrees of longitudinal widths or variations are there. So as a country span multiple longitude, they may have a different time zones within their borders, which affects the aspects such as the scheduling, the communication, and the coordination across the regions. Meaning that when the country is wider area, so that there may be the existence or a partition of longitudinal differences are there. If so, then that have resulted for the existence of variation in terms of time. So that have or this may be affecting about the scheduling on the communication and also the coordination of across the region. So based on this, due to its longitudinal extension, meaning that Ethiopia is located from 33 up to 48 degree, then this have resulted for the variation of different time zones will be there. So this extension, there is a difference of 1 hour between the most eastern and most western point of the country. Is only for a convenience that the 3 hours time zone is used in all parts of the country. So meaning that then Ethiopia has GMT plus 3 are there. Meaning that so there is a variation of 3 zonal ETM zones variations are there. So that in one ETM zone, so there is a difference of 1 hours are there. So GMT plus 3 are there. And also it has also 1 hour time difference between eastern and westernmost tips of the country. So that from the western part of Ethiopia or Wakobo up to the eastern part of Ethiopia or Ogaden, so there is there is a variation of 1 hour or 1 hour time differences exist due to the longitudinal extension of Ethiopia. And the other expressing of the location is relative location. So that we know that this relative location can be expressed the location of the countries or replaced with reference to the location of other countries, which is known as vicinal location, or based on the landmass, or based on the existence of major land features, and also based on the water bodies. So if we are expressing the location of any country in relation to these 3 aspects, then these types of expressing location is known as relative location. So for example, the location of the countries or vicinal location of Ethiopia is, we can express like, for example, Sudan to the west and the northwest. So this is Sudan, which is sharing of the boundary with Ethiopia in the western part and also the northwestern. And South Sudan, this is South Sudan, then which is sharing of the boundary of Ethiopia with in the southwestern or southwestern direction. Djibouti to the east, Somalia to the east and southeast, then Eritrea to the north and the northeast, Kenya to the south. So this is the vicinal or relative location to Ethiopia with other countries. And also there is in relation to water bodies and major landmass. Yeah. So that Ethiopia is located in the Horn of Africa. Then Ethiopia is found in or located in the southwest of the Arabian Peninsula. Yeah, the Arabian Peninsula. And also Ethiopia is found in the south of Europe based on the continental location. Then Ethiopia is located in northwest of the Indian Ocean. Yeah, it is northwestern of the Indian Ocean. And the other one is Ethiopia is found or located in the Nile Basin. Yeah. So this is what it is, the location of what Ethiopia in relation to water bodies and major landmass. Yeah. And the other point is the implication of what the location of what Ethiopia. So then we know that Ethiopia is located in the tropics of Cancer or in the northern hemisphere from 3 degree up to 15 degree north latitude. So so these locations have its own implication for different aspects. Yeah. Then the first one is it has its own implication on the climate condition. Yeah. So Ethiopia is located between 3 degree up to 15 degree north latitude, or it is found between the equator and the tropics of Cancer. Then this implies that the country has a tropical climate. Yeah. So based on the latitudinal location, then there is the existence of a tropical climate stars area, but it is modified by its altitudinal or elevation variation. Yeah. So even though Ethiopia is located in the tropics, so that it have experienced tropical climate, but the Ethiopian climate is modified by or controlled by or it is governed by the altitudinal variation or the elevational variation. Yeah. So we know that there are different types of what controls what weather and climates are there. Then the first one is we know that it is latitude. Yeah. The second one is altitude or elevation. Yeah. So that even though Ethiopia is located in the tropics of Cancer, but the climate condition is more modified by or it is controlled by the elevational variation. Yeah. And the location of Ethiopians relative to the Indian Ocean. Yeah. Then there is what? Then location of Ethiopia is related to the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and the African and Asian landmass has a various bring of the climate of what Ethiopia. So that based on this is the climate condition and based on the location of what Ethiopia in the Horn of Africa have the existence of what different types of what rainfall conditions will be exist. Why? Because Ethiopia is located in relation to the Indian Ocean. Yeah. So that the winds are blowing from the Indian Ocean towards the highland part of what Ethiopia. So that based on this, then the climate and then in the some part of what the Ethiopia, then there is receiving what rainfalls are there. So that there is a variation of what rainfalls are there in the in Ethiopia due to the blowing of what winds from the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and also from the African and the Asian landmass. Yeah. So based on this, then there is what? There is a variation of what the climate conditions are there. Yeah. So this variation in altitude and latitude leads to a wide range of what climates from tropical to alpine climate conditions are there. So meaning that there is high temperature areas are there, and also there is low temperature areas are there. So that there is a variation of what elevations are there, and also the variation of what latitudinal location of what Ethiopia have resulted for the existence of what different types of what climate conditions will be there from the tropical or the hot area up to alpine or cold climate conditions are there. And for example, this is the location of what Ethiopia in the Horn of Africa. So that the location of what Ethiopia is located in the tropics of what Cancer or northern hemisphere. So that there is a blowing of what winds are there from the Atlantic Ocean, from the Indian Ocean, and also from the Red Sea or the Arabian Peninsula landmass. So that in this case there is a different amount of what rainfall will be received in different seasons. Meaning that there are some countries, some places of what Ethiopia have there receiving what rainfall in summer season, in the winter season, and also in autumn and spring season. So there is a variation of what rainfall amounts are there in different seasons. Why? Because this can be determined based on the latitudinal location or based on the latitudinal location of what Ethiopia in the Horn of Africa. And the other implication is socio-cultural implication. So based on this, then Ethiopia is one of the earliest recipients of the major world religions, namely Christianity and Islam, due to its proximity to the Middle East, which was the origin for this religion here. Most of us, the religions are there starting in the Middle East here. Since Ethiopia is located in the Horn of Africa, so there is socio-cultural integrations are there with the Middle East here. So the linguistic and other cultural relationships which Ethiopia shares with its neighbors reflect the influence for the location here. So that whatever there is religion and cultures are there which are found in the Middle East, so there is sharing of that religion and cultures are there. So these have exist due to the location of Ethiopia in the Horn of Africa, or the proximity of Ethiopia in the Middle East. Yeah. So Ethiopia shares a linguistic and cultural relationships with its neighbors, like in the Middle East. And the other implication of what Ethiopian location is, it has its own political implication here. So when we are talking about on this one, then Ethiopian's location gives a strategic importance within its proximity to the Middle East and into the Europe and also the Asian market here. So that Ethiopia is located in the Horn of Africa, then its locations have a strategic importance to connect the Middle East, the Europe and the Asian market here. So the political history of Ethiopia has been considerably influenced by the geopolitical consideration for the superpowers and adjacent to the Red Sea or the major global trade routes and the Middle East geopolitical paradigms are there. So as a result, she has been exposed for external invasion or attacks, but remains free of what external domination. So the other implication is economic implication here. So Ethiopia is situated at a potential global commercial crossroad connecting the Indian Ocean with the Mediterranean Sea and the African with Asian and Europe. So that since Ethiopia is located in the Horn of Africa, so it is what? Then from Ethiopia, it is easily moved to the northern part or in the Europe and also in the Red Sea and also in the Asian market. So that this location of Ethiopia in the Horn of Africa have its own implication for economic integration and development. Nevertheless, it has deprived of sea outlets or herbivores and fossil fuels due to landlocked and past geological history respectively. So these have the implication of what Ethiopia in relation to its location. Then the other point is size of what Ethiopia and the Horn. So Ethiopia with the total area of what approximately 1.1 million square kilometer. So it is what it is eighth largest country in Africa and also 25 in it is the world area. So that based on the size of what Ethiopia, then we can say that the size is very large. Then it extends about 1,639 kilometers from east-west extension and also 1,577 kilometers from north-south extension. So regarding to the water bodies in which are covered by the water, then about 0.7% of what the country is covered by water bodies. So the size of what Ethiopians also affect both the natural and human environment of what the country. So that this being as a large country have its own effect on the natural and human environment of what the country. So regarding to the size with other the Horn of Africa, then the countries of what the Horn of Africa and total areas are there. So that based on this, then we can say that then Ethiopia is the largest, and we can say that then Djibouti is the smallest there. So that based on the total area for what the Horn of Africa, then almost all the Ethiopia is what it is very large area. And this being as a large country have its own advantage and disadvantages are there, or merits and demerits are there. So that what is the demerits or the disadvantage of what the Ethiopians being as a large size, and also what seems like the advantage. So the first advantage of what the being as a large country is it possesses diverse agroecological zones, resulting in a wide variety of fauna and flora. So we know that then we do have a diverse agroecological zones are there, which is from Baraha, Kola, Wena, Dega, and which agroclimatic conditions are there. So that these different agroclimatic conditions have resulting for the existence of different types of plants and animals or fauna and flora are there. So this is one advantage, and the other one is a variety of natural resources are there. So we do have a different types of natural resources are there, like water or soil or forests resources are there, and also we do have a different types of minerals are there. So that being as a large countries may have the potentiality for the existence of different types of natural resources are there. And the other one is the other advantage is own extensive arable lands area. So and also have a large population size. Yes, sometimes populations may have considered as a resource there. So this being as a large population is also major advantage. The other one is homes for diverse ethnic groups and cultures. So in Ethiopia, then we do have almost 86 ethnics are there. So those ethnics have their own culture, their own customs and beliefs, and also traditions are there. So if we are managed these different ethnics in a positively, then it has its own a positive implication for the development of a tourism industry. And the other one is greater depth in the defense external invasion. So being as a large continent or large country is there is excess of a large population. If so, there is a greater depth in defense external invasions are there. Then even though these are the major advantage, but we do have artificial disadvantages are there, or man-made problems are created. So this is considered as a disadvantage. The first one demands greater capital to construct infrastructure facility. So these are not natural problem, rather than it is what it is. This is artificial problems. So requires a large army to protect its territory. For example, at the current time, so there is a different conflicts are there in the north, south, east, west direction, and also in the center. So this for this, it requires a large army to protect its territory. Then the other disadvantage is difficult for effective administration and difficult for socio-economic integration, meaning that there is existence of what disparity in terms of what economic aspects are there, so that it is difficult for integrating of what socio-economic with one region to another, or one zone to another, and also from one worda to another worda, so that there is existence of what different types of what socio-economic developments will be there. The other one is governance and administration challenges, or security and stability problems may be there. And the other one is there is the existence of what economic disparities or economic variations are there. For example, then we do have 9-10 regions are there in Ethiopia. So there is a difference in terms of what economic aspect. So that this will be exist due to large size of what Ethiopia. So this is more about today's session.
Thank you for joining my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our future cosmic adventures. Thank you for watching my channel. Until next time, keep looking up.